Hello there again for the 440 20th reaction I have, well, made tonight. I made like about 5 or 6 reactions. I'm reacting to what if Obi-Wan fought Darth Maul with Qui Gon and Kenobi. Let's see how this played. Also, I'll have the channel in the description below. So you can check out the original video on the Star Wars Galaxies channel. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. And yeah, let's see how this plays out when Yoda in the original timeline didn't go to Naboo with Kenobi and Qui-Gon. But let's see this time when if Yoda does go to Naboo with them. See how this plays out.
What if Yoda went to Naboo to fight Maul with Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon? That's our story for today. Hope you guys like this one. I had a lot of fun with it, so I hope you guys do as well, and let's get right into it. Our story begins in the Naboo hangar, as Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan Kenobi are being greeted by someone else joining their fight. Grandmaster Yoda was here. Yoda descended from a Jedi ship, and he said that he was in deep meditation on Coruscant when he realized how stubborn he was being, stuck in his ways. If the Sith have truly returned, then it is his responsibility as Grand Master to be here and make sure that their return comes to a swift end. Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan obviously had no issue with this, and they were even more relieved as they approached the doors to the refinery and they opened it to reveal the Sith that Qui-Gon met on Tatooine. In unison, the three Jedi ignited their lightsabers, and Yoda was more relieved than ever before in his long life. Had he not come here, and had he lost one of these Jedi, it would have weighed extremely heavily on his mind. Qui-Gon told Padme, Panaka, and the others to go and they will handle this Sith. Then Yoda led the charge as the three Jedi clashed with Darth Mual. Across the galaxy, though, not long ago, Darth Plagueis heard from his Coruscant spies that Grandmaster Yoda had left the Jedi Temple, and his hyperspace route points to Naboo. This enraged Plagueis, as he knew this was going to mean the death of Maul, and the Jedi would begin to take the Sith much too seriously. So Plagueis stormed into the apartment of Palpatine on what was supposed to be a night of celebration for Palpatine basically securing Chancellorship, and he scolded his apprentice for allowing Maul to reveal himself on Tatooine. It was too early, and now he was going to die on Naboo. Palpatine said that perhaps they should go to Maul together, kill all of the Jedi there, including Yoda. But Plagueis was not having it. They were to hide in the shadows for much longer, so Plagueis and Palpatine got into a heated argument, in which Palpatine soon called Plagueis a useless old fool. And Plagueis could see now that Palpatine was on the verge of trying to kill him. So Plagueis ignited his lightsaber, saying that if Palpatine wants him dead, he will have to truly earn it. Sidious ignited his own saber and said, "So be it, my master," and flipped over a table between them, slamming his saber down on Plagueis. The Sith Master spun away.
I like how this turned out to be this turned out from what if Yoda fought Darth Maul with Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan to what if Palpatine fought his master Plagueis during the Battle of Naboo, not the Battle of Naboo, but during the door of Qui-Gon, Maul, and Kenobi. What if Darth Maul... Oh, yeah. As I was saying, I like how this turned out to be what if Yoda fought Darth Maul with Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan, and now it turned out to be a what if Palpatine failed to make Plagueis drunk and they dueled during the battle of Qui-Gon and Maul. Basically, anyway, it's like, what if Palpatine failed to drunk Plagueis, or what if Plagueis realized and now they're fighting? At the same time, it's what if Yoda fought Darth Maul with Obi-Wan and Kenobi. It's kind of like a what if, but two. What if this happened at the same time? We got what if Palpatine's plan failed to kill Plagueis. So basically it's like a 2-in-1 deal.
Shooting lightning, which Sidious dodged, then shooting his own lightning back at Plagueis, sending him crashing into the wall. Sidious threw his saber into the wall at Plagueis, but he dodged and rolled away, as Sidious then called the saber back to him, clashing with Plagueis again, back and forth, strike after strike, master and apprentice. They were even in their duel, as they moved into other rooms now. Sidious spun, cutting at Plagueis' legs, but Plagueis blocked this strike, then kicked Sidious to the floor, and he plunged his saber into the ground, and it caught Sidious's robes as he scrambled back to his feet, then swung again at Plagueis. Plagueis was breathing heavier now, and as his breathing apparatus was causing him some issues, and Sidious took a chance to stab forward, but he missed, and Plagueis hit him now with a blast of lightning. Sidious again fell to the floor, and he looked back up. Plagueis was gone. Sidious held his saber in the air and began speaking with a hiss. Sidious said that he should have done this long ago, saying that Plagueis has become nothing more than a fool trying to cheat death. He's forgotten about the grand plan, and now he has been left behind. Sidious moved through the rooms, trying to lure his master back out, and Sidious could barely hear the breathing of Plagueis before he lunged at Sidious, and they clashed blades again, this time much faster, with even more anger than before. The dark side swirled around them as Plagueis' eyes burned with rage. Sidious's face turned from anger to psychotic glee as he smiled as the two of them locked lightsabers. Sidious pushed his saber down on Plagueis, and it began to burn into Plagueis' shoulder. And Plagueis looked to the table to see the wine bottle that was going to be used for celebration before this duel, and he used the Force to slam the bottle into Sidious's head. Sidious grabbed at his face, the glass and the wine getting into his eyes. His vision was blurred, and he swung at Plagueis, but the Sith Lord quickly cut off Sidious's hand, then stabbed him through the back. Plagueis told Sidious that he was always weak, then lifted him into the air, choking him, stabbing his own saber into Sidious again and again as his life faded. And as Sidious's body fell to the floor, Plagueis realized the mess he just made. He didn't just kill his apprentice, he just killed the new Chancellor of the Republic. But Plagueis had an idea to turn things in his favor still. Back on Naboo, as Darth Sidious died, his apprentice Darth Mual was not too far behind to join him in death. He had to immediately retreat from the three Jedi, as the addition of Yoda to this duel was far more than he'd anticipated. Maul backed up to the bridges after dueling these three Jedi, but he knew that his chances were very slim. So, once on the bridge, Maul reached out to the wall, grabbing a plasma charge, using the Force to throw it at the Jedi. But Yoda caught it and redirected it at Maul. The charge blew the bridge, and the explosion sent Maul over the edge, falling to his explosive death. Back on Coruscant, former Jedi Master, now Count Dooku, was waiting for his master Darth Sidious in the Sith hangar. Dooku has done everything Sidious asked him to, from lying to those closest to him, all the way to cold-blooded murder, all in the name of rebuilding this corrupt republic into something new, something better. But as Dooku was waiting, it was not Palpatine's speeder that entered the lair. Instead, it was a scimitar ship, and it came to the man Dooku knew to be Hago Damask. He was covered in blood, and he threw Sidious's lightsaber to the floor in front of Dooku. Dooku looked up in shock, and he immediately knew what was going on. This was the Master to Sidious, and clearly Sidious was no longer around. Dooku and Plagueis had never connected, but Dooku and Hago Damask absolutely had. Dooku and Palpatine had plans that stretched for decades. They were going to rule the new government together, but Plagueis was not here to fight. Instead, he told Dooku that he does need his help. He has a way that they can rid the Republic of the Jedi Order, and together, they can take over this corrupt Republic. And Dooku was listening. After a long trip back through hyperspace, Yoda, Qui Gon, Obi-Wan, and the young Anakin Skywalker entered the Coruscant atmosphere. Yoda was very worried about the state of the galaxy, and the state of the Jedi Order as well. The Sith returned from under their noses, and he had no idea. Luckily, who Yoda assumed was the apprentice died on Naboo. Now they could only wonder who the Master was. But as they descended down into the temple, an emergency broadcast was sent through the Republic HoloNet. It read as such: newly elected Supreme Chancellor murdered in his sleep. Cause of death was a lightsaber. And so Yoda and Mace Windu led the Jedi Council to the Senate to hear more of these accusations of Palpatine being killed by a lightsaber. Inside of the Senate, as members of the Council including Yoda, Windu, Evan Peel, Plo Koon, Shaak Ti, and Depa Billaba gathered in the Jedi pods. A main pod floated to the center of the Senate, and inside of it was Masameda, Dooku, and the known Mun, Hago Damask, aka Darth Plagueis. Damask reached into the pod and now held the lifeless body of Palpatine, then said he was killed by a lightsaber. As the Senate was now in uproar, Dooku began to speak, saying that this was the doing of the Jedi Council. Dooku was working with Plagueis now, and they were going to turn the galaxy against the Jedi. Dooku said that he left the Order some time ago because he believed that the Jedi were corrupt with their role in the Republic. He continued, saying that he often heard whispers of a plot to take over the Republic, though he didn't believe it to be true. But he told Palpatine about this plot, and with a sad sigh, Dooku said he wishes he would have done more, and he said that the Jedi must have found out that Palpatine knew about their plot, and so they killed Palpatine. And now Masameda spoke, saying that it was Palpatine's final wish that his trusted allies, Dooku and Damask, take over as co-chancellors, and their first act will be to remove these traitorous Jedi from the Republic. The Senate was louder than ever now, with many of them yelling down at Windu, Yoda, and the others, calling them traitors, murderers. Windu requested to speak but was denied. The Republic was rallying around Palpatine. They saw true promise from him to be able to turn the Republic around. But now everyone was seeing the true reason the Republic was failing. It was the Jedi. Was this actually true? Not exactly. But Dooku and Damask got everyone to rally behind them, and after the Jedi left the Senate, they decided as a council that indeed they must leave the Republic. They wanted to speak with these new co-chancellors, but Dooku and Damask were making it impossible. And now the propaganda of the evil Jedi was spreading like wildfire through Coruscant. Thousands of people were outside of the temple every day to protest the Jedi, telling them to get out of here. Preparations were being made to leave, and after a week or so, the Jedi would depart from Coruscant to go to their original homeworld of Tython. There was still a temple there, although it was very worn down, but it could all be put back together, and new, smaller temples would have to be built to harbor all 10,000 Jedi. But it could be done. The first couple years of the Jedi exile were spent rebuilding or building new areas for the Jedi to live on Tython. Many of the younger Jedi often questioned why they had to leave Coruscant, but as time went on, almost all of the Jedi began to see how good leaving Coruscant actually was. Windu and the other council members began to have their blind loyalty to the Republic lifted from their eyes, as they now had an outside perspective on just how corrupt and broken the system as a whole was. And they could see now that they were wrong to participate in the Republic for so long. And among these young Jedi that were questioning things was Anakin Skywalker, who was now training under Qui Gon Jinn. Obi-Wan Kenobi was a Jedi Knight at this point, and after Qui-Gon took Anakin as a Padawan, he also accepted a seat on the new Jedi Council in the main Tython Temple, and he asked Obi-Wan to help train Anakin while he was performing council duties. Qui-Gon never would have taken a seat on Coruscant, but the Order was evolving on Tython, so Qui-Gon was helping to evolve it. And so over these couple of years, co-chancellors Dooku and Damask began unrolling their plans to slowly turn this Republic into their empire. First with the creation of a droid army of the Republic. With the Jedi sent away, Damask stopped funding the clone army on Kamino, and instead turned these funds into creating a droid army very quickly. And after these couple of years, thousands of Republic planets were slowly under heavy battle droid security. After 5 years, the Republic began to shift from supporting Damask and Dooku to wondering if the Jedi were unfairly cast away. Under the rule of these co-chancellors, freedoms were continuously stripped away under what they were calling the Palpatine Act, which was basically sending more droids to Republic planets to ensure the Jedi were not trying to infiltrate the Republic once more. This was actually just the co-chancellors enforcing their strong rule more and more, using the Jedi as a fear tactic. But these co-chancellors, secretly Sith, could only close their fists so much without rebellion leaking out from the cracks. And so Republic senators, such as Padme Amidala or Ryo Chuchi, would soon come to Tython, and they would ask the Jedi for help in restoring the Republic. The people were beginning to see just how wrong they were to exile the Jedi in favor of these new chancellors, and the Jedi would accept this role. Along with helping a rebellion, the Jedi were also spreading into the Outer Rim, away from the Republic, trying to bring an end to slavery and the terrible suffering under various crime lords. It was not easy by any means, but the more the Jedi interfered in the Outer Rim, the more people that rallied behind their cause. But as the Jedi and unhappy Republic planets began to form this rebellion, Darth Plagueis heard whispers of it, and he was extremely happy about it. He and Dooku often discussed wiping out the Jedi completely, but for a while, they thought it was just better to let the Jedi fester in their failures on Tython. Plus, genociding an entire religious group was not the best look for the Republic.
Yeah, no.
After these 6 years since the Jedi have left, the two of them have truly begun their reconstruction of the Republic, and now that they had evidence of the small Jedi rebellion within the Republic, they had a plan. Darth Plagueis ordered a giant droid army fleet to go to Tython, destroy the Jedi Temple. In the forests of Tython, the 17-year-old Anakin Skywalker was training in lightsaber combat with Obi-Wan. The two of them had many sparring matches through the years, and Anakin was beginning to match Obi-Wan pretty evenly. Anakin was able to knock Obi-Wan's saber away, and
I'm back.
the two of them shared a laugh, as this was the first time that Anakin truly beat Obi-Wan. And Obi-Wan told Anakin they should go back to the main temple for a meal before meditation and sleep. But as they turned to the temple, a fleet of 10 Republic Venators, armed with battle droids, emerged from hyperspace and began descending down into the atmosphere. Within seconds, Jedi starfighters poured out of the newly built Tython Temple hangar and flew up towards the Venators, but it was all a futile attempt. The Jedi did not have the firepower to counter this attack, and inside of the temple, the entire Jedi Council was already gathered, including Qui Gon, and they looked up as Jedi starfighters flew to the sky to meet these Republic fighters. Windu said that this should never have happened. The Chancellors won't be able to maintain support if they just wipe out the Jedi like this. They were supposed to be exiled, not murdered. But Qui-Gon said that the Chancellors do not need to worry about the Senate. They have control of everything, and this is how they will prove to the galaxy that nobody can oppose them. And Qui-Gon was right. The Council began moving to evacuate, but it was too late. Once in range, the 10 Venators rained firepower down on the temple, and after a minute of firing, it was reduced to rubble as everyone inside, at least 8,000 Jedi, were killed in the explosions. And in the forests, Obi-Wan had to hold Anakin from running into the temple and trying to be the hero. Instead, Obi-Wan had to pull Anakin away to one of the smaller temples. There were around 1,000 Jedi in this one, and the 32-year-old Obi-Wan was suddenly one of the most experienced Jedi. He urgently ordered everyone to evacuate and regroup to the coordinates that he is sending to all of the Jedi ships. And these Jedi were able to board various ships, with Anakin and Obi-Wan in one, and take off as the droid armies burned down the forests and destroyed every remnant of the Jedi on Tython. In hyperspace, Anakin was too stunned to speak, but Obi-Wan said they have to try and move on. It is what the Council would want. Now Anakin snapped at him, saying he can't just move on. They just lost Qui-Gon, Yoda, Windu, Plo, thousands of innocent others. And Obi-Wan softly said that he knows, but if he does not try to move on, his emotions threaten to consume him. And Anakin sat down next to Obi-Wan, understanding his point of view. They are Jedi, and this will not be the death of the Jedi. Anakin asked where they were going, and Obi-Wan said that Anakin wouldn't like it, but it is a planet that Jedi have spent the last few years freeing people, including Anakin's mother, Tatooine. 3 years later, Tatooine has been almost completely changed in secret by the Jedi. After the destruction of Tython, Plagueis and Dooku assumed the Jedi were either completely dead or would be completely giving up on any rebellion. But they were wrong. Instead, led by Anakin and Obi-Wan, the Jedi only got stronger by rallying behind their vow to bring peace to the galaxy. Tatooine was an interesting planet, as roughly half of it was uninhabited, largely because of the number of krayt dragons on the southern side. But, using the Force, the Jedi decided to move their operations to the south and bond with these krayt dragons, turning them to allies rather than enemies. A young Jedi named Ahsoka was particularly strong with the ability to bond with these animals, and so she helped Anakin and Obi-Wan to create a living space in the southern Tatooine. And the best part about living here is that no one would ever assume that the Jedi moved here. It was always thought that it was too dangerous, uninhabitable, and so the Jedi spread into the galaxy over these 3 years, freeing slaves across the galaxy, taking down crime lords, and they brought any and all refugees or fighters to southern Tatooine as they continued building up their resistance. Across the galaxy, taking down crime lords, and they brought any and all refugees or fighters.
This is from PPSW's channel. I'm gonna react to this later tonight or next time. This is against, what if Anakin made a feed all the slaves or something like that? Let me look. Yeah, it was this.
If it did, you should have said something.
What if Anakin started a slave rebellion? I'll react to this later tonight. I'm gonna react to that later tonight or tomorrow after work.
To southern Tatooine as they continued building up their resistance. Throughout these 3 years, as a small town would grow into a well-built city in southern Tatooine, the Jedi would lead missions of warfare into the galaxy, taking out shipyards, droid factories, and other vital Republic buildings, mostly run by droids. Plagueis and Dooku often tried to deny to the Senate there was any rebellion, but it got harder by the day, as this rebellion, hidden somewhere unknown, would just grow more and more. And through these years, Dooku and Plagueis began to grow apart a bit. Dooku wanted to rebuild the Republic into something truly good for everyone in the galaxy, free of corruption. But he soon saw that all Plagueis craved was power. Plagueis lied to him. And for months at a time, Plagueis would leave Coruscant, going to Pilio, where he was experimenting with midichlorians to make himself immortal. This was a project he'd been working on for decades, with minimal progress. But he was obsessed. He needed it, but he just couldn't master it. And when Dooku was left alone with this Republic he was now in charge of, he began to see that he was becoming the very thing that he swore to destroy. Planets were unhappy. They were rebelling against his rule. The people of the galaxy were uniting to make the galaxy better, uniting with the Jedi against him. And Dooku decided that maybe his role in all of this was to help the rebellion win and replace the Republic, creating the future that he'd always dreamed of. And so, Dooku would send a tip to the Jedi through an encrypted channel, hoping it reached them, wherever they may be. On Tatooine, Obi-Wan, the leader of this resistance, was informed of a secret transmission sent to a Jedi starfighter, and Obi-Wan read it. The transmission was information on a crucial Sith base on Pilio. Anakin told Obi-Wan that this could be a trap, then asked for their next steps. And with a smile, Obi-Wan said that they sprang the trap. But it was no trap. Instead, Obi-Wan, Anakin, and a rather large group of rebellion fighters from various planets landed on Pilio, and they found the base guarded by a group of battle droids. Taking them down was easy, and they soon began placing charges throughout this entire base. Anakin was looking around, seeing all sorts of screwed up experiments, wondering what they could possibly be for, and he was glad that it would all be coming to an end. And as they left the base and set off the explosions, a new ship emerged from hyperspace. It was Plagueis, as he was alerted that his base had been infiltrated, and so the group of Jedi and rebels got back into their ships, taking off as Plagueis landed nearby, firing lightning into one of the ships, causing it to explode, then carefully guiding a tracking device onto Anakin and Obi-Wan's ship as they blasted off into space. Plagueis couldn't believe his base was gone. All of his work, decades of it, was just gone, destroyed. The Jedi survived the attack on Tython, at least a few of them, and he decided right here and now that they would need to be dealt with by him. So he tracked the ship of the Jedi and soon learned where they were: Tatooine. Plagueis ordered Dooku to ready his droid fleet, and Dooku did so, but Dooku still had more to his plan that would come in time. For now, he allowed the fleet to blast off into hyperspace, meeting Plagueis above Tatooine. On the sand planet, on the southern side of the planet, the twin suns were suddenly covered by a fleet of Republic ships. Obi-Wan and Anakin looked up as around 30 droid transports began descending to the surface, and with determination, Obi-Wan yelled at everyone to get to their defense stations. Today was the day they'd been prepping for, and they had many more numbers than the Republic anticipated. Anakin looked to Ahsoka, and the two of them ran to a huge nearby cave together, as rebel fighters and other Jedi got into their own defense positions. And in the center of the dunes, Obi-Wan Kenobi now walked alone, as Plagueis landed, with hundreds of droids lining up behind him. Kenobi looked to Plagueis, and finally saw the truth. The Sith Lord was Ego Damask. He killed Palpatine. And Plagueis told Obi-Wan that he and his small band of fighters were always destined to fail at his hand. But Obi-Wan tilted his head and said, "Small." And from around the dunes, Jedi and rebel ships flew out of the sand, flying into the air, taking on the droid fleet head-on, catching it by surprise and outnumbering it heavily. Plagueis ignited his own saber angrily, saying that he will cut down every last one of them. He will call for reinforcements, blow this planet to nothing but dust. But again, Obi-Wan showed no signs of panic, and instead, the ground began to rumble underneath Plagueis and the droids. It felt like an earthquake, and it was coming from two different sides of them. Underground? The sand under Plagueis' feet began to shift, and suddenly, a ginormous crate dragon emerged from the sand, spraying acid across the hundreds of droids, melting their circuits. Plagueis looked to see a Togruta Jedi riding the dragon, and Plagueis turned to run, when another, bigger crate dragon emerged from the sand, this time ridden by Anakin, and the dragon blasted Plagueis with acid as he tried to defend himself. Plagueis screamed in pain as the acid was melting him, and Anakin guided the dragon to land on Plagueis, crushing him, swallowing him up, as he and Ahsoka rode the two dragons across the dunes, taking on the battle droids, as more rebel fighters emerged from the nearby caverns and mountains. In the end, the fleet in space was destroyed, and the Jedi defeated the Sith Lord and his army. When this battle was over, Anakin and Ahsoka descended from the dragons, thanking them for helping defend their home. And then, they took off for Coruscant. It was time they revealed themselves to the galaxy, and hope their forces are strong enough to take on the Coruscant blockade. And on Coruscant,
I'm back again.
as Dooku looked to the stars after feeling Plagueis' death through the Force, he saw the fleet of Jedi and Rebel fighters emerge. The fleet consisted of fighters from thousands of planets. It was a united galaxy, and it gave Dooku more hope than ever before. So upon seeing this united galaxy, Dooku accessed the comms of all of the battle droids across the galaxy, and he executed Order 99. This order to the droids made them all turn on each other. The fleet in space was destroyed, and the Jedi defeated the Sith Lord and his army. When this battle was over, Anakin and Ahsoka descended from the dragons, thanking them for helping defend their home. And then, they took off for Coruscant. It was time they revealed themselves to the galaxy, and hope their forces are strong enough to take on the Coruscant blockade. And on Coruscant, as Dooku looked to the stars after feeling Plagueis' death through the Force, he saw the fleet of Jedi and Rebel fighters emerge. The fleet consisted of fighters from thousands of planets. It was a united galaxy, and it gave Dooku more hope than ever before. So upon seeing this united galaxy, Dooku accessed the comms of all of the battle droids across the galaxy, and he executed Order 99. This order to the droids made them all turn on each other, and across the galaxy, the droid armies battled each other, until they were basically eradicated. And Dooku watched this united galaxy come together above Coruscant in celebration, and he ignited his red blade, then stabbed it through his own gut, dying on the ground, looking up to see the galaxy be saved from his tyrannical rule. Around a year later, Padme Amidala was the new Chancellor, and the Jedi, led by new Grandmaster Kenobi, were friendly to the Republic once more. And this new Republic, with the Jedi, were spreading into the Outer Rim, bringing peace and freedom to those who needed it most. They honored the Jedi that came before them, and from the Force Netherworld, Qui Gon Jinn and Yoda would soon visit Anakin and Obi-Wan, helping them along the way in this rebuilding efforts. And folks, that is where our story ends. Yeah, I did kind of just pull a Dune move and have Plagueis die by Anakin and Ahsoka riding in on crate dragons. I absolutely did. Sorry if that's a spoiler, but I don't know. I really wanted to do that, and I thought, hey, let's go to Tatooine and let's have him just ride some giant worms. That was fun for me. Hope you guys enjoyed that part as well. Just melting the droids and Plagueis with the crate dragon acid. Anyways, that was fun. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. Yoda going to Naboo results in crate dragon warfare. That's right. One little thing, snowball effect, butterfly effect, whatever. It's all fun. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I did more than a lot. So, anyways, let me know what you want to see next. Appreciate you guys. Please leave a like, subscribe. It helps the channel out quite a bit. And I'll see you in the next video.
Nice. Oh, wait. Bye for now. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. And again, I'll have the channel in the description so you check out the original video. And don't forget to check out my reaction playlist too to see more of my reactions. Bye for now. I'll see you guys next time. See ya.
Where'd you go?
Oh, good.